Thank you. When I was 18, I went snowboarding with a couple of friends at Mount Holly, Michigan. I was going down an unlit path on the backside of the hill. I hit a small bump, and my head made contact with the icy ground. When I got up, I saw stars, and my stomach felt very sick. I got to the chairlift with my friends when we got to the top of the hill. Once we arrived there, they said, and we all agreed, that we would meet at the ski lodge down below. Well, halfway down the slope, I blacked out. When I came to, I had total amnesia. I did not know what my hands were, what my name was, what planet I was on, or what a planet was, just the same. My father came to pick me up, and he took me to the nearest local hospital where they gave me a CAT scan. They said everything was okay, but in the next couple of days at school, I began to skip class, hide in the library, read in books, and having really strange social behaviors. Before this accident, I was shy, and after, I was very loud when talking to people. Well, 2 weeks later, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. What is bipolar disorder? Well, according to the Bipolar Disorder Survival Guide, it is a mood disorder caused by a chemical imbalance in the brain. It's called bipolar because it involves two poles, one high for mania and one low for severe depression. The chemical involved in this imbalance is known as a neurotransmitter. There are 5 neurotransmitters in the brain. Now, what causes bipolar disorder is when this neurotransmitter is overproduced or underproduced, and also when it is too rapidly broken down or too slowly broken down. Bipolar disorder is hereditary. It was then called a chemical imbalance. In school, I had heard of it as manic depressive disorder. Today, they call it bipolar. There's many different names for it, but at the time and now, it's still the same disorder. Currently, there is no single gene that is attributed to carrying on the problem of bipolar disorder from generation to generation. But geneticists do believe that it is actually a cluster of genes. They have not pinpointed all these genes, but in the near future they hope to do so. An individual with bipolar disorder is said to have an 8% chance of carrying that disorder on to their children. What triggers bipolar disorder? Well, many things actually. It could be stress, disturbances in your sleep and waking cycles, drug or alcohol abuse, environmental
traumatic events,
and also head injuries. The vulnerability and the genetic predisposition to bipolar disorder lays dormant until one of these triggers actually occurs in one's life. With the sleep-wake disturbance, what happens with that is your circadian rhythm is disrupted. Now, circadian rhythm, in layman's terms, is basically your biological flow from day to day, kind of like your biological clock. So let's say you go to bed right at dusk and you wake up right at dawn. Well, if that's disrupted drastically, bipolar disorder, if it's dormant in your life and your genes, it can be activated. Another trigger of bipolar disorder is drug and alcohol abuse. Not only can drugs and alcohol trigger a diagnosis of bipolar disorder, but can actually make the individual episodes far worse. For instance, if someone is taking cocaine, it can make the manias skyrocket, or if a person is drinking alcohol and they're alcoholic and they're diagnosed with bipolar, it can make the depression severely lower or severely more intense. In my case, I experienced a trigger with stress about a month ago. I was working a full-time job at Dillard's. Also, I was trying to design a website for my father's artwork and promote a gift and incentive business with my wife through the Chamber of Commerce. Well, one Sunday, when I didn't have my job or any of this stuff going on, I forgot to take my medication, just one pill. But that following Tuesday, I was experiencing severe paranoia that was not founded in reality. So, I told my managers that I was leaving because I was having an episode and I didn't want it to get worse. Well, the following 4 nights, I did not sleep at all. So Magda and my mother drove me to the Riverside Behavioral Health Center, and I stayed there for a 4-day weekend in recovery. I'm still not fully recovered right now, but I'm getting there. When a person suffers a bipolar episode, be it manic or depressive, it tends to take a month to 6 months to be at full recovery. society at large currently tends to stigmatize those who are diagnosed with bipolar disorder. According to Wikipedia, there are about 5.7 million Americans living with this disorder today. It was funny because about a month ago, before I left my job, I heard one of my coworkers say about somebody else that, oh, that guy's got bipolar disorder. He's crazy. Well, I think it's kind of funny that we tend not to shun people who have an imbalance in their body, like diabetes or cancer. With diabetes, you've got a deficiency where your pancreas cannot produce enough insulin, so you have to get an external source. With cancer, you require radiation or surgery to take care of the problem. Well, for me, in my mental disorder, which is actually still in the body, it is an imbalance in my brain, I have to take lithium to balance out the overproduction or underproduction of the neurotransmitters in my brain so my mood can stabilize. Fortunately, today, bipolar disorder can be treated and highly managed with the right amount of medication on a consistent basis while avoiding the triggers that I talked about earlier. Currently, there are many talented and highly successful individuals struggling with the disorder today, such as Patty Duke. Patty Duke wrote this book. It's called The Brilliant Madness. She was the host of the Patty Duke Show, and she's also won 2 Academy Awards. This was very odd to me, that Jean-Claude Van Damme, martial arts master, is also suffering from bipolar disorder. And Robin Williams, the genius comedian. So through education of the public, I think we can lower the stigma associated with bipolar disorder. Thank you.